Hey, everybody, welcome to Business, Money, and Christianity. We're a financial podcast from a faith perspective. I just wanted to share a few things with you today as you're going through life, doing your business, and everything like that. There's people out there that talk about the law of attraction and positive thinking and different things like that that obviously work and have their place. I think we should pay attention to that kind of stuff. But I want to talk to you kind of a little bit of a spin on that, where our thinking affects us. And one of the areas I'm reading a book right now. Let me look it up here real quick. I'm reading a book right now that is called, if I can find the place on it, here it goes. That is called The Life-Changing Art of Self-Brain Surgery. It's actually a really good book, but it's not talking about you cutting into your own brain. It's a neurosurgeon who wrote it. So he's literally a brain surgeon, medical doctor. But he understands and obviously has studied a lot about the brain. And so he's sharing different elements. And so he said there was a statistic that he quoted. I don't remember the source of the quote, but he says there's a 5-to-1 ratio that the average human, or on average, or the extent of the study that was done, there's a 5-to-1 ratio that we will default into a negative thought pattern or look at a problem versus a positive thought pattern and looking into positive action. Now, so we're 5 times more likely, or we will have 5 negative defaults before we get to a positive default to operate. So what does that mean to us financially? What does that mean to us regarding our business? We're living in a time that I'm seeing a lot of people, they're hurting. The way the economy has flowed, over here in the United States, I would imagine it's around the world with this recent war in Iran. Gas prices just went very expensive. They've come down a lot now because of, at the time of this recording, the Strait of Hormuz has been opened and there's more flow, but grocery prices are still going up. People are cutting back on their spending, especially for some ancillary things that I can live without this. And it's affecting a lot of businesses. It's affecting a lot of people's lives. And we're going to have a default mechanism in how it affects me. Now, there's one thing that I've said for years and years and years, and I started out my journey of changing my life with there is an answer to everything. Now, in that statement, there's an answer to everything. That literally means there's an answer for whatever I'm going through today. Anything I ever come up against, anything I ever deal with, and I have to find the answer. And so neuroscience shows that when we take action, it builds competence, or the ability to know how to make something happen. We might not up front have the confidence to do it. So let's bring it back into the business that we own, the money management that we're doing, our life, however we're looking at life. Things are going negative on a large scale. People are struggling on a large scale. Now I have to take action, but it looks and appears like, because on a large scale, excuse me, many people are struggling. So now it could cause me to not take action because it appears like it wouldn't work. Or I could say this, in the Bible, it says that hope deferred makes the heart sick. When I lose hope, when I lose my ability to see that if I do something, it's going to make something happen and get me to the next level of life, the Bible says it makes the heart sick, or the internal part of you starts wanting to give up and starts thinking about, why should I do this? It's not going to work anyway. Well, what neuroscience has learned, and through studies in the activity of the brain and everything, is that action builds competency. Now, competency is going to be, being competent, understanding what to do. But we're living in a different world now than we were living in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years ago. of go. So the answer today, there's an answer for everything. The answer for today may be different than the answer 10 years ago. I've had my business, I've been working my business, everything has been going well, but now it's not working. And maybe the things that we did prior in this new world that we live in are not affecting our income, our business in a positive way it used to. So now I need to become competent in today's culture, in today's situation, in the things that are happening and going on that are outside my control. So what does this neuroscience study shows? I have to take action. I've got to learn, or I've got to step forward and do something. Now, what's going to happen is in order for it to build competency is I'm going to succeed or fail. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to learn something in the new parameters. And the more I do, the more competency that will come. So I cannot back down from my doing. I've got to be and continue to be pushing forward and figuring out what is the new dynamic. Then it goes on, this neuroscience study goes on to show that competency builds confidence. So a lot of people think I've got to build up the confidence to take the next step, but that's not the way the brain works. The brain works is I've got to do something. Doing something teaches me whether it works or it doesn't work. And in doing over and over again to see whether it does or it doesn't work builds the confidence to continue moving forward. And so we're in a strange dynamic now. I'm 64 years old, and in the way when I started out in business in my 20s, which would have been what, the 1980s, the world doesn't work the same way. And so, especially as things are changing so fast with AI and different things like this, and growing older, there's an old saying here in the United States that old dogs can't learn new tricks. Well, old dogs can learn new tricks. They just don't want to. And that's what I find working within me is I want it to work the way that I know it works, but we're living in a very changing dynamic. And in order to stay confident in what to do, my action has to continue to be moving forward, but it doesn't work the same way that I've known for 40 years. And so I'm having to learn or become more competent in how things work, which builds the confidence in how to continue to move forward and continue to build and grow. So now comes the element, if I don't do this, self-doubt takes root. Now, self-doubt, we have to think on in a deeper term. We know I'm recording this. I've got a desktop on my desk here. I'm sitting in my office right now, and I went to this program that does this recording for me. But behind this program is an operating system. It makes the whole computer work, and this program is designed to work on this platform. It's an Apple system, so it's iOS. So this platform I'm using is designed to work on iOS. Do you know what happens if iOS messes up the platform? The app that I'm using, so it's really not an app, it's an online, I sign in online. I guess it's kind of like an app. But if the operating system malfunctions, the app is not going to function correctly. Do you realize that self-doubt is an operating system that is operating in the background of what you are paying attention to what you're doing? So what happens is this background, now self-doubt is a background. It's basically an operating system that if I doubt myself, then the app, the things I do in life, they're operating from this background of self-doubt, which is going to affect what I'm doing and how well I'm doing it and whether it's working or not and whether I'm growing or not. And so what ends up happening in this background is it's going to cause me to focus on what gets noticed in the day-to-day scheme of things of running my business. So there can be good things, there can be bad things. Remember the 5-to-1 ratio. My operating system, especially if self-doubt is the operating system, is going to focus on the problems that could come, not the success that could happen. That's going to change the dynamic of the outcome of what I'm going to experience. Now, it also is going to interpret for me what things mean. So now, when I'm learning and becoming more competent, if I have self-doubt operating in the background, what it is going to tell me what things mean is going to be on a negative because I'm doubting myself element. I've got to not have this operating system operating in the background. I've got to be positive focus, success focus, and problem overcoming oriented. If there's a problem, how do I fix it? Why did it become a problem? And then the third thing it will do is what's going to happen next. Now, from self-doubt, these three things of what I focus on, what I notice, what things mean, and what I'm going to do next. If I'm operating on the operating system of self-doubt and I don't have confidence in how to move forward, then things are going to not go the way that I want it to. I've got to have an operating system that believes, understands, and knows that there is an answer for everything. So I want to encourage you today to know and build within your operating system that there's an answer for everything. And if you will look, if you will pay attention, if you'll not default to the negative, you'll find the answer. And in this crazy world, there's still money out there. It's just flowing different. And we might have to maneuver our businesses a little bit in order to get into the flow, but the flow's out there. And you've got the ability to do it. So I want to thank you for stopping by again at our financial podcast, Business, Money, and Christianity. We're coming from a faith perspective. And really, I could have interchanged a lot of words in this and used faith and expectancy and different biblical words, but it works at the natural level also if we will position ourselves correctly. So thank you again for stopping by. I look forward to seeing you again, and may your life win in all this craziness that we're going through. We'll see you soon.